Good morning. This is Pastor Jed. Welcome to our devotional time. This morning our devotional comes from Isaiah 30. In verse 1 it says, "Ah, stubborn children, declares the Lord, who carry out a plan, but not mine, and who make an alliance, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, who set out to go down to Egypt without asking for my direction, to take refuge in the protection of Pharaoh, and to seek shelter in the shadow of Egypt." Here we see that Israel is in the midst of trial, and who do they go to? What do they find their protection in? They don't find it in the Lord. They carry out a plan, but it's not the Lord's plan. They make an alliance, but not with the Spirit, but with the world, with the nation. They add sin to sin, and they end up finding protection, refuge in Egypt, in man. How often are we like that, where we don't wait upon the Lord, we don't wait for His plan, for His direction. We take things into our own hand. We go and we set out our own plans. We don't go to the Lord asking Him for wisdom. Instead, we depend on our own. Instead of depending upon the Lord's protection, of Him being our refuge, we depend on the world. Perhaps it's finances. But how often are we too like that, where God is not our hope, God is not our protection? How often are we guilty of adding sin to sin, of carrying out a plan, but it not being the Lord, of seeking protection, refuge, wisdom, but never seeking anything from the Lord? It goes on in chapter 30, in verse 18, it says, "Therefore the Lord waits to be gracious to you, and therefore He exalts Himself to show mercy to you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for Him." The Lord is so gracious with us. He's so patient. And how undeserving are we of that? He waits. Why? To be gracious to us. He waits to exalt Himself, to prove that He is trustworthy, of Him being our refuge, our protection, our guidance and wisdom. He waits to show Himself merciful, to show Himself a God of justice. Perhaps now you're in a season where it's so hard to wait. It's so hard to depend upon God. Maybe you have a family issue. Maybe there's issues with your finances, life decisions, medical problems. So blessed are those who wait for Him. Wait upon the Lord's wisdom. Wait upon the Lord's direction. Don't add sin to sin. Wait upon Him. He is merciful. He is gracious. He is a God of justice. He is worthy of our praise. Will you wait for the Lord? Will you wait for His guidance, for His direction? Will you wait? Blessed are those who wait for Him. Are you waiting upon Him? Are you taking things into your own hands? We also have a new class coming. It's called Instruments in the Redeemer's Hand, starting this Sunday at 9:30 a.m. in the old youth room. We'd love to have you join. Maybe you notice that there's things about you that need change, or maybe you see those around you are struggling. This is a great tool as we learn to counsel others in godly biblical wisdom. Love to have you join us this Sunday at 9:30